The recording has started.
Yeah. Let me get the music up here. Peace and love. We're gonna be chimed in a minute. Is that my host?
And I have a topic today.
No, this is wrong.
That's often overlooked. Domestic violence. Domestic violence.
Chopping it
many tags. So Queen of Fee, if you're listening, check it out. Domestic violence. It has to stop. The kids are crying. It's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our together. Talk about it and let them know that they're not alone. Young Motive is back with the topic of the day. It's a crucial situation that we all must pay more attention to. It's bringing families down. You know me, I know the truth, and I'ma spread it around. It usually happens at home behind closed doors, but it's spreading through high schools and college dorm floors. For the victim, it's like they got their head in the noose from all the scars of the physical and verbal abuse. Men do it to women, women do it to men. It's a cycle that happens over and over again. It's disturbing and far from bliss, and each and every child is emotionally affected by this. I think it's time we bring the dark to the light, to stop the 911 calls in the middle of the night. So I'm reaching out, and I hope it's worth my while. It's erasing the bond between man, woman, and child. Domestic violence, it has to stop. The kids are crying. It's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together, talk about it, and let them know that they're not alone. Domestic violence, it has to stop. The kids are crying. It's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together, talk about it, and let them know that they're not alone. Stop and think about
Peace and love, everybody. We're gonna get started. Of course, I don't know if my co-host is here or not. She's not on the screen with me. I can tell you that. I'm not sure she on the call with me. LiLi, is that you? Is LiLi on the call? All right, she ain't on the call with me either. She's supposed to be here in the building right now. Okay, getting what she need. All right, these are her topics that I'm going off for tonight. You see what I mean? So where's my co-host? That's the whole thing. You know what I mean? Okay, well, that's a whole moment. All right. I'm gonna let her do that moment then, because I don't know what to say. We're gonna go on though. We're gonna go on and have a quick session. Because I got Chris Barnes on here, so Chris Barnes will piggyback with me tonight off of the team talk romance. I don't know what's going on with my co-host, but you know, we're gonna let Mama work that out. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna let Mama work that out. But I was hoping she could call in if she couldn't log on, because she was getting her fitting for her prom dress. So hopefully she could call in before we end. We're gonna be quick today. So today we was having a team talk, piggybacking off earlier this or last month. We talked about peer pressure among high school students, and today we was talking about teen romance, love and loyalty, good or bad. Think about that. How do we feel about that topic? I have some things that I want to share, but even my sharing situation was acting up on me too. So now I'm confused. about my whole situation when it comes to me supposed to be sharing here. Um, I'm not sure why I'm not picking up on what I was supposed to be sharing. I'm not sure why it's picking up for me today. But I'm gonna try it one more time to see if I can't get what I need up here. Um, I got Google. That's not what I want. All right, so I don't know why it's blocking me or something is blocking me. I don't know what is blocking me from doing what I need to do for my presentation. Let me see if this one will help me. Okay, this one might be it, y'all. Okay, can y'all see that? I hope you can. I know my callers, students in the classroom, y'all cannot see it on the call, but you can hear it. So we was talking about teen trauma bonding. That's what we was talking about. But of course, the topic was teen romance, love and loyalty. Is it good or bad? So think about that. Who are in a ride or die relationship? The majority of my class raise their hand and say that they are in a ride or die relationship. That's one relationship. The other one is the Bonnie and Clyde relationship. I say, who's in a Bonnie and Clyde relationship? My teens, I get a fairly good amount of students who raise their hand. Some say it's complicated. Some say they're in a situationship, and they name all these of them. But I say Bonnie or Clyde. For the most part, everybody's in a Bonnie or Clyde relationship. So ride or die, Bonnie and Clyde are two of the popular ones. And then you have love and hate relationships. So who's in a love and hate relationship? And I get a lot of teens who respond to that one too, as that being a real relationship, like a real healthy thing that they're doing in a relationship like that. So it's funny that our teens, our young people would think that they in a love and hate relationship, or that they in a ride or die relationship. They literally be thinking that this is what's going on in their relationship, and like this is a whole thing. That's a lot of what that entails. So how do we, how do they come to this conclusion that ride or die relationship is a real relationship? They must have seen it, or that, at our dinner. I guess I probably done been in the ride or die. I never been in the Bonnie and Clyde, because let me tell you, when okay, coming to kill up some people, they wasn't necessarily abusing each other. That's what they was doing. So that's what y'all, as my teens, that's what y'all doing. That's the relationship y'all in. So y'all bonding up together to figure out who y'all gonna get next. Clyde does. That's that relationship. And then of course you had a love and hate relationship where we off again, on again, off again, on again. Back and forth, back and forth. Do that one cycle back and forth. Nobody is respecting nobody. And then they start to talk about how they gonna get back together and how sorry they are, and please forgive me. They definitely use please forgive me as bait. That's just bait. Please forgive me is just bait for them relationship to get. But I was saying, this is okay. Pretty much, this is okay type of relationship, and literally, like, it's not okay. It's never okay for a teen to be trauma bonded with somebody. You see, because it can get very dangerous. I got something very interesting to tell y'all tonight. I do. And I'm gonna tell y'all too. I got something very interesting when I tell you. Y'all don't need to hold on to your seat. It's terrible. What is trauma bonding? So trauma bonding is or are emotional bonds that arise from what? That cycle of behavior, that pattern of abuse, that cycle of violence is what I'm trying to say. So you have the tension stage, then you have the explosion stage, then you have the honeymoon stage. So you're back at the honeymoon stage again. And so that's what that pattern is. A trauma bond occurs in abusive relationships wherein the victim forms an emotional bond with the predator. The concept was developed by two psychologists, Dutton and Painter, developed this, and they're really on to something, because that is that cycle where they have that tension phase and they upset, they mad, they might be arguing, text messaging back and forth, the alarming text messages that go back and forth between them about, I hate you, I love you, I'm not riding with you, I'm not down with you no more, I'm not your Bonnie, you not my Clyde. Those things going back and forth and toying with, almost what could be their demise in that. Just with the verbal piece, just with the verbal abuse, you trauma bonded. You see what I mean? Because technically, teens are not going to, with this generation of teens, and most in abusive, in teen dating violence, you have it where you're going to be nice. You're going to be nice. And you're going to find something that you have in common. And some of it can be, that was my best friend and now we together. That came from them talking about the trauma that they have experienced in their life and just looking for somebody to agree with them, validate them, or even share the same story that they have. But again, that can be very dangerous because you have calculating teen abusers, male and female abusers, who look for this and use this as bait to become irate, to become explosive in these relationships. And again, it can be a very dangerous thing. And then of course there's that cycle of forgive me, I'm sorry, I'll never say it again, I'll never do it again. There's that piece of it too, where it spins around in this circle. It goes back around, and they all talking about love-hate relationship. They talking about Bonnie and Clyde, and they talking about ride or die. They all are talking about trauma bond. That's basically what they're all talking about. And fitting into that. Who can fit into that? Who can meet me where I am with that? So is that love and loyalty? It's not near one of. Is that good or bad? It's bad. That's what it is. It's bad. All right. 7 stages of trauma bonding. Love bombing. These are all new. But these are still going to fall under the number one tag that we educate you all on. We educate our teens on verbal abuse. This is still abuse. But they have these little slogans and things inside that they develop. People have come up with, certain things to be catchy, you know. And I get that, but it's verbal abuse. So love bombing, excessively flatters and praises partners. So you're constantly on your partner line, like you want to know where they are, you want to know what they're doing, like you pretending like you really care about what they have going on until you don't care. That teen abuse is going to pretend like they care until they don't care, till they can't pretend no more. Number two, they have trust and dependency. Definitely trust and dependency, because if you trauma bonded with somebody over secrets or things that you never really told somebody, you're going to trust that person. Like it feels like you should trust this person, because the teen abuse is going to make you feel like you can trust me. That boy or girl is going to make that victim, that teen victim, feel like they can trust each other. All right, so that's that piece. And then three is criticism, you know, the blaming and criticizing, making that person feel bad. Some say gaslighting, manipulates the partner into thinking I'm the crazy one. Well, we know that the abuse is going to do that, because that's a great way for them to continue in that cycle of what? Violence, the tension stage, the explosion stage, the forgiveness. I like to call it the forgiveness stage, which is why I tread very lightly on my forgiveness. The teen boys and girls are going to say, please forgive me. They use forgive me a lot. Don't none of them really read the Bible or read the Quran or read whatever they supposed to be reading spiritually, but they will use forgiveness as bait to keep that victim in that same space emotionally, right? Because trauma bonding is that dependency on somebody who is seeming to care about me. Addiction, the partner gets emotionally addicted to the positive reinforcement that comes after the abuse. That's back in what? Back in the forgiveness. Back in the forgiveness stage. Back in that, what they would call it, the honeymoon stage. Loss of self is number 6. You're going to lose yourself. Number 7, submission. You're going to submit. You're going to submit. Most teen victims, boys and girls, are going to submit to it, because now they're in this cycle. All right, so where moms and dad are saying, you need to leave him or her alone, honey, it just began. It just got started. So they ain't about to leave that person alone. It just got started. Where the teen abuser has flipped the script on that young girl, that young boy. And so now it's like, I'm going to chase that first high of when we fell in love. I'm going to be chasing that first high of when we fell in love. And I know it's going to come back. I believe it's going to come back. They wasn't always like that. Like at some point, I know you love me. At some point, I know you cared about me. At some point, I knew it was good. You see, that's the teen romance, AKA trauma bonding, that our young people get caught up into. So you want them to leave, and they're not even inclined to leave at that moment or at that time, right? Some of them don't make it out. Death is the way that they exit an abusive relationship, and that is happening. That is happening left and right. Unhealthy codependency. So back to what? Love. Is it bad or is it good? Right? A need for consistent reassurance, validation from a partner driven by fear and abandonment can lead to unhealthy codependent relationships, where misplaced love, loving someone who is actively harmful or abusive, can lead to emotional distress and even physical harm, as individuals may struggle to separate their feelings from the abusive relationship. So again, there's that dependency on this person because I've told them things that I've never told anyone else. And some of those things can be that they have an STD. They might have opened up and told this potential abuser that they have an STD. And the abuser says, I will accept you with that. The abuser will say, I will accept you with that. Okay? And then the abuser will go on to have full-on engagement, sexual engagement with this person, right? Having using condoms, maybe not. Taking a chance, maybe not. Because the abuser gotta show that they in it too. So they gotta do a little something to show that they in it too, right? Because you trying to psychologically steal a person from their own self. You're trying to psychologically steal a person from their own self. So if you tell me that I'm the only one you confided in about having an STD, right? Unfortunately, that could be bait for that teen girl or that teen boy abuser. Show their so-called loyalty by maybe not using protection. Maybe not using protection. Because I'm going to show him or her that I'm in this thing for life, for loyalty. Now, if you are an abuser, right, and you are this victim have told you that she has herpes or she has HIV or she has chlamydia, da 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 da, you say okay, blah blah blah. The abuser say, all right, I'm still with you. I'm gonna still be with you. You know, long as you healing, I'm good. You know what I mean? You got the medication you need to take. I'm good. These are the things that the abuser is going to say. As soon as that victim want to leave that relationship, soon as the victim don't want to be bothered no more, the abuser is going to hold that over their head. So you might want your baby to leave that relationship. And you can see that your child could be falling apart in that relationship. And you wondering what the problem is, what's going on with the thing. You might not even know that your child is battling with an STD. You parents may not even know this, but the abuser knows this. And the abuser is going to use it against your child. So when you see that your child can't leave this relationship, and parents, we be pulling our heads out trying to figure out what's going on, that could be one of the reasons why they're not leaving that relationship. And heck, I mean, if you think about it, who gonna leave the relationship after that? You see what I mean? If you think about it, let's be real. Let's be 100%. Who gonna leave after? Who gonna be just up and had the confidence to leave after you done told this person that, and now all of a sudden they using it against you? Who gonna really have? You thinking this person will really do this? Like you trying to say, look, don't embarrass me like that. Don't humiliate me like that. The boy is saying that, and the girls, the victim is saying, please don't embarrass me like that. Like, so at that point, you woo-saw, you come, that victim woo-saw coming in and start thinking like, man, how am I get away from this person? Like, nobody don't even know this. Like, how would I break free of this person? It could be due to a STD that the abuser is holding over your child's head, that they can't exit that relationship too. Does that fall under love and loyalty? No, it don't. Does it fall under good or bad? It falls under bad. That's what it falls under, bad, because now that young boy, that young girl have gotten themselves into something that they don't know how to get out of, that they literally don't know how to maneuver. And here they can't talk to Queen of Fee because I don't want nobody to know that that's what's going on with me. You see me? So we got to think when we start talking about lead a relationship, when we telling our teens to just up and lead these relationships, where our teens can't just up and lead these relationships either. Okay? So is it teen romance? It's not romance. Is it love and loyalty? It's not love or loyalty. Is it bad or good? It's bad. So this one is the loyalty part. Loyalty says what? Blindness to harm, right? Unquestioned loyalty can prevent individuals from seeing the damaging behaviors of those they are loyal to, like I'm saying, to that abuser. And the abuser has something on you that, or the abuser may be constantly getting you pregnant. You know what I mean? And that's the way you got to show loyalty to that abuser. You got to constantly get pregnant. You wondering why this teen boy or this teen girl like got like 1, 2, and 3 children right behind each other. See, loyalty don't mean getting pregnant by the abuser. That's loyalty don't even fall under that. But they don't understand the harm that it does because they're in what kind of relationships? They're in love and hate relationships. They're in ride or die relationships. And they're in Bonnie and Clyde relationships. So they're going to be blind to harm in these relationships. And those three relationships that they're in, they're going to be blind to the harm that it poses. All right. Inability to protect oneself. Loyalty, group or individuals can sometimes prevent individuals from taking action to protect themselves, even if it means risking their well-being of others. So they can't even protect themselves in some of this stuff because they're so blind to what's really going on, right? They can't see it. So basically, healthy romance is built on what? Open communication, trust, respect, and equal partnership where both individuals feel safe and valued in it. Okay, we want both of the individuals to feel safe, feel valued. We don't want them to bond off of being those things, the three top relationships that they're in: love and hate, love and hate, ride or die, Bonnie and Clyde. These are the three top relationships that they're in. So we don't want them to be in that. So my thing is finding a solution for our young people is a good solution is getting them the dating questions that they need to sort of begin to understand the phases of questions that should happen in teen dating relationships, even in young adult relationships. Okay, because we talking teens, but we also talking what? We talking 18. We actually talking 13 through 24 years old. 13 through 24 years old is what we're talking about. They're all, a lot of them are in. You want to know what kind of relationship your child is in? Take it from Queen of Fee. I'm telling you, love and hate, Bonnie and Clyde, and what's the other one I said? I forgot. I always forget. Love and hate, Bonnie and Clyde. Do y'all not know I seriously forgot the third one? All right, I'm gonna let y'all figure that out. But y'all know what I'm talking about. All right, y'all know what we talking about today. All right, charge it to my head and that mark. These are the relationships that our young people are in. So we got to start turning that thing around and helping them be able to communicate who they are, what they desire, and what's best for them in terms of dating. So that's going to start with open communication. That's also going to start with at least 106 dating questions that it is out there for them to start practicing how to ask questions that are not related to trauma bonding, that are not related to those three relationships, all right, that are not related to the cycle of violence. We want them to learn how to communicate effectively. We want them to be emotionally intelligent. And a lot of our teens are not emotionally intelligent. And I'll give you an example. I talked to one of my young men last week, and I said, so your mom is concerned about you hooking school? He said, yeah. And I said, so you think you are emotionally intelligent? He said, yeah. Yeah. I'm basically like, what you mean? Yeah, I am, to the fullest. I said, well, how are you emotionally intelligent when you're hooking school? You're not going to class. How are you emotionally intelligent doing that? And of course, he didn't have nothing to say after that. But it's just that simple. It's as simple as that. Getting them to rationalize in the prefrontal cortex what healthy relationships really look like instead of the trauma bonding or the cycle of balance or the 3 relationships that they're in. Okay. Let me open up and see if any of the students want to chime in. Y'all want to chime in with me on the calls? I got the line open. You want to chime in and join in and say your piece, or you can remain anonymous. You can remain anonymous. If you want to chime in, you can. If you want to chime in, come on and chime in. If you want to, if not, you can remain anonymous. Okay. Chris Barnes, you want to chime?
I'm listening.
Go ahead and chime
I'm
in.
listening. And you saying some pretty deep stuff, which is different than our normal conversation, because you surround the teens with the trauma bond and the Bonnie and Clyde, the love, hate type stuff that's going on. So that's kind of educational for me too, because I only deal with adults.
Right.
So I'm listening, and I'm here for input. And if you need input, but no, you doing good. You getting a lot of good spots. So I don't understand why nobody not chiming in, why nobody don't have something to say.
Well, you can remain anonymous. That's why. But the object of it is to let our teens know that the more we talk about it, the more we learn about it, the more we get educated on it. Trauma bonding is like a real thing. Like, this is a real thing, and this is what's happening to our young people, and these are the relationships that they're in. I can't make this up. I just go around and take surveys and ask questions and ask them questions about what they're in. I ask them questions about what they're in, what they feel, how did they come up with that? Tell me more of that. Those are all prompting ways to get them to open up more and more about what they feel, as opposed to just zooming straight into their own relationship. Because we might see it right there and we might not like things. And so we approaching it like, won't you leave him or her alone? Well, that's not my approach to it. My approach to it is, how do you feel about that? What do you think about that? Could this be something that you can work on? Is that trauma bonding to you? Is that a love and hate relationship to you? Is that Bonnie and Clyde to you? So asking and posing those questions to them and just allowing them to be open, honest, and free about what they feel like it is, and being accepting of what they feel like it is. Because yes, parents, brace yourself, put your seatbelt on. We don't want to hear what our babies got to say, but technically we really need to hear what they got to say, because they the future. See, we the past, they the future. So they in different times from us. So we want to get a vibe about how they projecting relationships and how are they seeing relationships. And even if they see themselves in a relationship, some teens right now are not interested in relationship. They're more focused on their careers and where they're headed at in their destiny. But all teens are not like that. And furthermore, you might not find love in high school, but you may get it in college. Should we wait till the child go to college and then start talking about trauma bonding and love and hate relationship? Should we wait till they get? Absolutely not. We're going to drop the ball every time we do that. Every time we sit there and wait, we drop the ball. Every single one of us. Conversations need to start having conversations at that dinner table as early as 5 years old, with training our babies on what to call their body parts, the proper names to call the body parts. It starts there. Stop manipulating our children when it comes to sex education, because they didn't get here from the birds and the bees. That's not how they got here. To educate your children, because they'll do it now. And that brings me to my secret that I'm gonna tell tonight. God orchestrated a conversation with me and some beautiful young girls that are between the ages of 8 and 10 years old. I'm riding along. I'm saying, what y'all passing around on that situation? What's on that phone? What y'all passing around? So they like, just tell her. So they tell me. Well, read this. So I read between the ages of 8 and 9. Supposedly having a conversation with a 13-year-old guy. And one of the babies make mention that he's a pedophile. At 13, they think he's a pedophile. And so do I. I said, well, shoot, y'all right. What? Let me see what's going on in the message. I get to reading the messages. It's a grown man who's talking to a baby, to my baby, 9 years old, 10 years. My baby, a grown man. So, you know, they got their little slogans where they talk about, where they say, they got OMG and LOL, where they had BMM in it. And I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all because that's what I do. BMM means beat my meat. So he's saying, I'm finna beat my meat. This is what he's telling 9-year-old, 10-year-old. That's what he's telling, right? So in that instance, I'm driving, but I'm starting to get hot. And I'm starting to lose my mind. I'm starting to get hot and I'm starting to lose my mind. The car's starting to walk, but I can't keep a straight face. I'm heated in this situation because I want to go over and find out his IP address. And I just want to knock on his door with some of my homeboys, right? And we homeboys and homegirls, mothers and fathers who love their babies. And we're going to handle this situation right here personally. We need to find out what's really going on. Okay. Now, this is something that God put me into. This is something that I can't make this up. I couldn't have did this. I wouldn't have did this to myself. I would not have showed myself, me at my age, gave myself, the little girl in me gave myself a phone and saw this going on. This ain't no month-old story. This was just this past weekend or something. Story. This ain't no month-old story. This ain't no year story. This was yesterday. Pretty much. Okay? So I wouldn't have gave, my young self wouldn't have gave my grown self that phone. Because I literally would have drove to wherever it was. I wouldn't even care. I would not care. Okay? Because my young self would have been telling my older self, their address, the phone number. We would have got all that out there. Right? I scrolled down. Someone said, well, what is PS? PS, another thing they using and cheat. PS is phone sex. I'm finna wait for you so we can have phone sex. Okay? And the little girl says, okay, I'm trying to get my camera together so we can do it. Your baby, my baby, 8, 9, 10. Your baby, my baby, 8, 9, 10 years old. Come on, family. What we doing? What we doing? What are we doing? What are we teaching? There's no way a grown man should be coaching a baby to this. I scroll down. I'm thinking in my mind, well, where's the mother? Where's her mother at? how's she able to have these conversations with this guy? She ain't even a teen yet. And this is going on because we dropped the ball when we don't have these conversations with our children. We drop the ball and we're going to end up like this every time. Where's her mother at? He in the text message talking about, where your mother at? She proceeds to tell him, smoking. She can't do nothing without smoking. Soon as she finished smoking, she gonna fall asleep. Then I had my camera ready to do whatever we supposed to do. PS. What do PS mean? Phone sex. I'm so hurt by this. I am so flawed by this. I am traumatized behind this. But see, God knows that I'm going to tell it. And I don't care what you think about Queen Afee, how you feel about Queen Afee. I don't care what you, because all of us at that dinner table, this baby, he ain't the only one. He ain't the only pedophile getting at our children. It's more little girls like her doing this. It's more little boys like getting the same conversation going on with grown women, grown men behind the computer. Behind the computer. And you know goodness well that these grown men and women know how to edit them videos and make it seem like it's them. Because that's what he did. I don't know who video he grabbed. He grabbed the little boy's video who apparently looks 13 years old. Okay. Grabbed his video, but had his name, his login information at the top of the video. Like it's really him. No, it ain't him. It ain't that little boy. It's a grown man behind that camera, but making this little girl think that she's in a relationship with a 13-year-old. When in fact, she's in a relationship with a grown man at 8 or 9 years old. I am horrified. I'm horrified. Talk about trauma bonding. If that ain't trauma bonding, I don't know what it is. We know where the mother was at. She smokes. So she ain't paying attention. And we got a lot of mothers who smoking. We got a lot of dads who are smoking, not paying attention to what the children are doing on these platforms, on these social media platforms and stuff. This ain't the only situation. It's many of them out there. It's many of them out there. And this that happened to some of y'all adults. We didn't have the social media stuff, but hell, your uncle or your cousin, the one that was sneaking your room, your auntie, the babysitter, y'all was hiring babysitters to have sex with your sons, to fondle with the son. These babies not even teens yet. So when we talk about teen romance and teen love, are they going to go into teen relationships healthy? No, they're not. This young girl gonna go into teen relationships completely unhealthy. She's going to go in love and hate. She's going to go in Bonnie and Clyde, and she's going to go in whatever. I still can't think the third one was. That's not like my brain. It's really alarming me. I say love and hate. I see Bonnie and Clyde. And I see one more. I literally cannot remember the one that I see. Brothers and sisters, we got to do better. We got to do better. I don't care. We got to do better. God wanted me to see that. I would have never shown myself that. He wanted me to have the conversation and let them babies show me this little friend that they got who needs help. Because if the urgency of help, her mental health is going to start to deteriorate in this. And she's going to seek out trauma bonding relationships. She's going to end up like many young girls do, like many young boys do, because of this same stuff, end up in the cycle of abuse. So, I mean, you tell me what you think. I don't know. You tell me what you think. It's horrific to me. I wouldn't dare want that. If you know somebody, of course, who's going through that, then you got to report it. You know, you cannot sit back on it and say, especially if you're the mom, you're the family member, you're the sister, you're the brother, whatever, and this is happening, or you suspicious of this happening, you got to go to the hospital. Take the child to see their pediatrician immediately. That's the first place you start with your teen, with your young people, the young adults. Take them straight to see their pediatricians. That's what you do. That's number one. You can do that before you even call the police. If you feel like you don't want to call the police and get the police involved immediately like that, the best place we can start at is at the child's doctor's office, at the emergency room. Start there. Start there, because the best thing is to have the hospital back you up on your claims if this thing had to go to court. Okay, we need doctors and professionals to sign off on what has happened to the child, or what has happened to that teen, or what has happened to that. Even if you have a teen who's being physically abused, we want to take them in to see their doctor. Okay, see the doctor and talk to the doctor, because the doctor can, you know, especially if you are a teen, your doctor will work with you and try to help you in a way that the police does not have to, at your discretion, does not have to intervene. See, that just depends on how that teen want to pursue something like the cycle of violence, right? We would love to just be able to call 911 on it, but our teens are not working like that. The safest place that we can start to get them help is really at the hospital. Okay. They're easily and more, their spirit could be a lot more okay with that, as opposed to jumping up and just calling 911. Now, of course, if your child is bloody, if your child is, been shot, been stabbed, you still got to call med anyway. You still got to call 911 at that point, and the ambulance are going to come out. So the police and the ambulance will come out. It will be a hospital report. That's what we want. We want to make sure all the time when you're dealing with something like trauma bonding, teen romance, and love and loyalty, good or bad, those things, love and hate relationships, Bonnie and Clyde. When you're dealing with those, the police and the hospital can get involved. But if it's not to the bloodshed magnitude, then of course, if you can walk your child into the doctor's office or into the emergency room, that might help kind of open up the team for some advice and even probably more sharing about what happened. So that's that part. The other thing is healthy relationships. We got to open up that door to start talking about also healthy relationships. We're talking about trauma bonding, but we also got to talk about what's healthy relationships for teens. And teens can start with the 106 dating questions and learn how to, and these 106 dating questions are on your internet. You can just type that in, teen dating questions, type that in and pick a question and really start talking about it with your teens and how healthy this could be. And not only that, get them communicating about what a healthy relationship is and what does that look like for them, because each one is going to be different, of course, because they just bougie like that. But the most important thing is that we get them talking about what they feel like, this teen dating relationship could be. So that's going to be like number one when we dealing with our teens. Okay. Lastly, you can, if we know our teens are in, a trauma bonding type of relationship and it is going through the cycle of violence, you say, but I really like loveisrespect.com. You can look that up. And loveisrespect.com has a lot of good tips as well as a lot of good dating role plays and things on that internet that helps our young people, our teen couples, learn how to date one another and be open and honest about who they are, transparent about what they want in a relationship and what they feel like is healthy for them, right? Lastly, of course, more therapists need to do teen couple counseling. Like we need to get these teens on our couches and start, or on these computers, you need to have it where the teen couples can come together and learn healthy strategies about dating. Yeah, we may not want them with that person. All right, well, book them a session though. Book them a session. Don't start talking about leave him, leave her, leave her. Say, would you say, look, I want to do y'all a favor. Would you and him, or would you and her, him and him, because it's all different kind of relationships, be interested in doing a teen couples counseling session? Yeah, do that. Offer that. I can do the session for you if you want. You can always reach out to Queen of Fee and get a session for our young people to come to the table and learn, maybe work out some of their issues and talk about what some of their issues are together and see things from another bird's eye view. As opposed to let's just leave, because just leave gets the teen girl or boy killed. It can get them killed. So we want to try to be solution focused, all while getting them the help and potentially having them part ways healthy, right? Potentially having them part ways healthy where they both agree that this is not good for us. All right. After talking to Queen of Fee, I know that I need to take a second look at what I want for myself. We have teen parents that are still trying to, in this back and forth stuff. They in the love and hate, they in the Bonnie Clyde, they in the back and forth relationship. They in this and they need help working out what each other really want to do with this relationship. Because it's confusing right now. It's not love, it's not loyalty no more. It's not good, it's bad. It's just bad. It's damaged, it's bad, it's horrific, and they need answers to help them work it out in their prefrontal cortex. Because most of the times they're not thinking properly, they're impulsive, they're aggressive, they're irrational, and they lash out. They have these great outbursts at one another, and it turns out bad. Okay? And we don't want babies, their children continuing in the cycle of abuse. And sometimes there's a substance abuse problem there that they're codependent. There are different reasons why that teen boy or girl can't leave that relationship. That is just too big for them to leave the relationship. Like they literally need help to leave the relationship or to try to do something different. Try to see it from a different perspective. All right. Better be checking the children's phones, their Google Meets, check their DMs on Twitter, check their daggone Instagram DMs, check them Facebook DMs. Because if you see BMM in there, Queen Fee told you what that means tonight. If you see PS in there, I told you what it means tonight. You can't say I ain't help. You can't see it. And you cannot say I did not tell the truth. Because baby, we in this together. We in this together. And we all got to each one teach one. We all got to each one reach one. And no way in the world should a 8, 9-year-old, 10-year-old be in no text message with no grown man thinking that she talking to a 13-year-old boy and I'm smoking or I'm drinking or I'm at a party where I work too many shifts to pay attention to my children's phones and their devices and stuff. But I buy more devices so they can meet more pedophiles. And I don't check none of it. That's inappropriate, family. Family, that's inappropriate. We're not helping our teens. We're not helping our babies go into healthy relationships as teenagers. We're not. It's a lot of them being touched and fondled with. It's a lot of them being manipulated by older men and women behind the computer, behind the digital spaces. The dark web is real. The dark web is real. And the dark web will come for your child if you're not paying attention. So, my brothers and my sisters, thank y'all for chiming in tonight. Right? Thank y'all for chiming in tonight with us. We love you all. I mean, we're going to be talking about gun violence. Is it the guns or is it the people that is behind the guns? That's what we're going to be talking about next Monday, 8 o'clock. Teen Talk, mental health. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So we're putting that fire out there, trying to have these few conversations with our families out there. Tag along. Put this information out there because guess what? I told y'all my secret today. And that ain't just my secret. But it shouldn't be no secret. That's the thing. It shouldn't be no secret. Nah, you ain't got to give out the tag names like me and do what I do. But at your dinner table, you got to pay attention to this. And you got to reel a child in when you see this happening. And you got to investigate. You got investigation is at the doctor's office, the child's known pediatrician, or at that emergency room. Okay? Yes, will a social worker, caseworker get involved? They will. Do they need to be involved? They absolutely do when it's pertaining to a child. They absolutely. See, remember now, your peoples might didn't do that for you. And remember how hurt you are. And you could be trauma bond. You probably still in the cycle of violence and trauma bond. And wish that the help was out here for you like it is today for our children. For our children. Because our children have advocates. They have lawyers now. And they have doctors who are paying attention to sexual violence, domestic violence, to the verbal, to the emotional abuse of our children. And I'm glad they are. I'm absolutely glad they are. Because that means another uncle or another sister or another brother cannot hurt another child right at their dinner table or anywhere else. It's particularly at your dinner table, though. At your dinner table. How are you looking at your niece or your nephew or your daughter or your son and saying how fine he is and your son slobbing you down? Excuse me? All right, good night, everybody. Y'all know how I go. Y'all know I get crazy with it after a while. What am I looking for? I want to thank each and every one of y'all for coming out and being in the session with us tonight. Even though my co-host couldn't make it tonight, I still love her. Our young people is on the up and coming. And we're going to try to be back here for our last session next Monday at 8 o'clock. We're going to be talking about gun violence. Is it the guns or is it the people behind the guns? That is our issue at this point. So thank you, my brothers and my sisters, here tonight.
To the light to stop the 911 calls in the middle of the night. So I'm reaching out and I hope it's worth my while. It's erasing the bond between man, woman, and child. Domestic violence, it has to stop. The kids are crying, it's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together, talk about it, and let them know that they're not alone. Domestic violence, it has to stop. The kids are crying, it's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together, talk about it, and let them know that they're not alone. Stop Stop and think about it. This is your significant other. Why would you want your son to see you put your hands on his mother? Leaving little man shook. It's really a bad luck. How you supposed to concentrate and keep his head in the book? How's your daughter supposed to look up to dad? Don't you know that you're the first male role model she's ever had? The saying goes, a woman wants a man like a father. So what you telling her? To accept this from a man, you gotta watch how you talk to whoever you with. Words hurt, people forgive, but never forget. I guess it's up to a teen to teach these things. It's just my expression of how YMC's sting. Seek a shelter from mayhem, they won't doubt you. And there's all types of programs to reach out to. No need to feel ashamed, cause it's not your fault. And this evil way of living has to come to a halt.
Domestic violence, it has to stop. The kids are crying, it's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together, talk about it, and let them know that they're not alone. Domestic violence, it has to stop. The kids are crying, it's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together, talk about it, and let them know that they're not alone.
I'm sorry.
This is Young
I gotta put this last message out there for Judy Moore.
that's often overlooked.
I don't know.
Domestic violence. Domestic violence wears many tags. So Queen Afia, if you're listening, check it out.
Domestic violence,
Romano.
it has to stop. The kids
That's
are
crazy.
crying, it's coming down like raindrops. It's a behavior we can't condone. It's breaking up our happy homes. Let's get it together, talk about it, and let them know
Love
that
everybody.
they're not alone.
Young Motive is back with the topic of the day. It's a crucial situation that we all must pay more attention to. It's bringing families down. You know